What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay Money. We powered by Wager Talk every single day, man. So glad to be partnered with these guys. Today, for the first time ever on the show, we have our guy, Marco D'Angelo, a.k.a. Marco in Vegas, the legend himself. What's up with you, Marco? Everything cool with you, my brother? Marco, you on mute. Are you still on mute, Marco? It's all good, man.
How's that?
Yes, sir. You back?
Oh, sorry, man.
No, you cool. You cool. What's up with you, my guy?
I'm just so excited. I was ready to jump out of the box and say, I didn't want to interrupt your intro there. But, Jay, it's great that I happened to be here the day after we had a big announcement yesterday. Glad to have you aboard. We signed a deal with you. Going to be win-win for both of us. As you know, Wager Talk, we love content, and we keep growing the content channel, and having you aboard to provide your show and, more things with us. We're excited about that. Come football season, we're going to have our product in so many various locations, which is going to get both of us more exposure. Wager Talk, and of course, your show will be on more platforms. So we're excited about it. It's a win-win.
Definitely a win-win, guys. Yeah, and also, we will be doing some NFL on this show as well, guys. So Marco will be back on here talking NFL. We'll have all the guys. I can't wait for NFL season now, man. It's definitely gonna be up. But yeah, it's gonna be NFL Talk with Jay and NBA. But it's also $2 Tuesday over there at Wager Talk, guys. Ralph Michaels has a big college basketball 5% play over there. Go check it out, and you can also get their 3 best bets for $5 over there at Sports Memo as well, guys. It's all business here. It's only 5 games today. Let's get straight into it, Marco. This first game up, man, this is probably the game of the day. TNT game. We have the Bucks here versus the 76ers. I was on the 76ers in that last game. They were getting 6.5 on the road. That was obviously before the Harden trade. Now they're at the house. The only thing I don't like, Marco, that they're back home off that 3-game West Coast road trip. This is the first game back at the house. Not necessarily a spot that I like to bag teams, but you got the Bucks here, Bucks and 76ers, right? Who wants to get that second or third 1, 2, 3? We know that the team are jockeying. What do you think is going to happen in this game, Mark? You like anything inside or total here?
Yeah, I do. And Jay, just want to say that for people not familiar with me, obviously I do stats like everybody else, but I like to look at situational things as well. And I talked to you before we went on air. My 2 least favorite words in the NBA is load management. And, too often down the stretch, we've had these games. You got to wait till the day of the game. You got to look at lineups and everything else. That's one thing we don't have to worry about tonight in this one, because this is a major game. As you said, the second seed is on the line tonight, and you're going to get full effect from both teams, all hands on deck. And to me, this is going to be a playoff atmosphere. And the reason I bring that up and talk about playoff atmosphere is because we've seen scoring, teams, we get these games where they score, 240 combined in a blink of an eye, and nobody wants to play defense. But when you get to the playoffs, it changes. Defense becomes more of a presence, and I think you're going to see some of that tonight. So I'm going to actually hone in on the side and the total. Now, overnight, we saw a move on this total. It was 228.5 overnight. Mm-hmm. We're seeing it up to 232 now today. And people are looking at, the recent games and looking at that last game with Milwaukee, where they gave up 127 to Memphis. Memphis is a scoring machine. There's just no question about that. I look for a different type of game here tonight. I look for Milwaukee. They were embarrassed. They lost by 25 points. Generally, when you see the better teams, the elite teams in the NBA get embarrassed, they're going to come and play the next game. And by play, I think they tighten down the screws a little bit defensively and try to slow this Philadelphia team down. I agree with you 100%. One of my angles I love to look at is teams returning home off of a road trip. However, because normally there'd be a letdown after the road trip. First game back, you got, family issues to deal with. The kids miss you. The wife, the girlfriend, whatever. You got to take care of business.
You got to take. I always say that, Marco.
and I use it, Jay, to be honest with you, I use it in basketball for the NBA. I use it in baseball, that same angle. In baseball, you get it even, more because teams will go out on a 9-10 day road trip where they're playing, games, 8 of those 9 days or 8 of the 10, and then they come back with a 1-day turnaround. But being that this is Milwaukee coming to town and so much into play, it kind of negates it. They're going to have their heads screwed on straight. What you might get here is if Philly has a big game tonight and does beat Milwaukee, I will tell you, and it's been this team's MO all year, if they have a big game, they kind of, don't show up with the best effort in the next one. So give you a little 2-prong attempt there. Maybe look at fading Philly if they play well tonight. But I do like Milwaukee in this game. And I also like the under. And I got a couple stats for you with the under. Milwaukee this season, when the line is between the threes, +3, -3, you're talking about a competitive game. They've gone under 14 of 19 times this season. Also, I've got a stat. This one's league-wide. And, we like trends and everything when it's geared to one team. But when you get something that applies to the entire league-wide, and it's a 5-year sample size, that's pretty significant in my mind. And we've got road teams when the total's greater than 220 and is a well-rested team. By that, we mean playing 4 or less games in a 10-day period, and you're involving 2 good teams that both have win percentages over 60%. Last 5 years, blindly playing that angle, 45 unders, just 14 overs. That's got me on the under in tonight's game, and I do lean to Milwaukee in this one. I think they come to play tonight. I like to do what you want to say, the contrarian style. You mentioned opening the show, Philly beat them in Milwaukee without James Harden. Doesn't that make it seem a lot easier tonight at home? They should win as well. Now with Harden in the mix, I don't look for things that look too obvious for me. So lean to Milwaukee, and I also like the under.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me. They did beat him without. I'm not sold on Harden. I think he's old. I kind of think he's washed up. He's lost a step, as Kyrie said. This on me. Listen to the post game interviews. The only thing I don't like, I lean to the under here as well. This will be a playoff style game. I think Bucks bring the defense, and the Sixers said it as well that they need to lock up. That's why they lost that Phoenix game. They were making shots. They just weren't playing enough defense. So they did mention that. Other thing, though, they did mention with playing with more pace as well. That's the only thing Embiid. He said that they have to get out and transition more and try to play with more pace. So that's not necessarily good for the under, but this still, with it being a playoff style game, it's under or nothing for me. I'd like to lean to Philly here. If I had one top play, it would be the Sixers today. That +6.5 to 1.5. The line is all over the Sixers here. Obviously, both teams coming off a loss. Just simply put, the way I look at this game, I think that Philly is not with the type of team that's going to tank. They're going to try and get the best seeds they can. I think the Bucks, they are one of those teams that don't want to see the Nets, and I don't know if they necessarily want to get into the top of 1 or 2 seeds, my guys. So that's just me. I know they beat them last year, but there was Kyrie injury away from them getting put out. So I think the Bucks know we don't want to face the Nets here. I don't think the Sixers are necessarily thinking like that. It's a tough game for me. I don't want to put my money on Harden to have a good game, but this is Sixers or nothing for me in this game. I do lean to the Sixers here, minus the 1.5. It's a tough one because one of these teams will not want to win this game. We will be able to see that, but because we talked about it all season, guys. It's 1 through 4, the top 4 teams in the East, guys. They're dodging the Nets, man. People don't want to talk about it, but that's what they're doing. So I think the Sixers would be one of the teams that I think that Sixers and Nets would match up before Bucks. So it's Sixers or nothing for me in this game. I must say, tough game for me, man. But it is. If I had a play today, I'm close to them Sixers, man. I got the Allen Iverson socks on. I think the Sixers are going to get this one done. It's a tough game, though. Next game up, Marco, we got the Wizards versus the Bulls. Here, we're going to the streets of Washington, D.C. Wizards getting 3.5 points at the house. Man, I was on the Bulls yesterday. They had a 15-point lead. His team they just melted it away. They look like the team that had fatigue there, Marco. You have a great angle in this game. Let the people know how you're looking at this one, my brother.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is just a weird schedule that the Chicago Bulls have been on. They have played now since February 28th. This is going to be their 15th straight game, Jay, in a different city. That is unheard of. And how that happens is you have long road trips, and then your homestands are one-game homestands. You're not playing in the same city 2 nights in a row. That wears on you, all that travel. And I think that's what you saw last night, Jay, blowing the lead that they did with the Knicks last night. You know, you're in control. You're supposed to win that game, and they let it melt away in the second half, blow the lead. What I'm also going to look at, now last night we know the Knicks can play, you know, a different type of game, a little bit of a slowdown. Washington doesn't want to play slow. Washington's going to want to move the ball up and down the court, which they should if they're paying attention, because Chicago's playing back-to-back nights. They're playing their third game in 4 days, and then that 15-game stretch of never playing in the same city. So they should play up-tempo. What I am going to look at in this game, we're looking at a total of 223.5 last I saw it. I'm looking for the over in this game. I think Washington's going to force the issue. And I've always been a proponent that it doesn't matter which sport it is, tired teams don't play good defense. It takes more energy to play defense than it does to play offense. And I think that's going to show tonight. I do lean to Chicago to bounce back, but I just can't trust them the way they're playing right now. This is a team that has been horrible during the month of March on the road. Again, that goes to the schedule they've had to play. But I'm going to look at this one over. Washington at home, when the total's been 220 or higher, 14-3 to the over this season, Jay. Washington at home after they win a game, 15-5 to the over, no matter what the total is. And I'm going to go ahead and look at this one. I'm going to take it over the total, 223.5. That's where my money's going.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, most of these Wizards games definitely been going over. That's a nice look there. My thing is with this one, I know that Levine did pop on the injury report. The Bulls are trying to still win games right now, but they're also trying to stay healthy for the playoffs. They're 8-3 ATS the last 11 meetings, and 8-2 ATS last 10 in Washington. So, but you make a good point there with the Bulls traveling all over the place. Hadn't been in back-to-back cities or at the house for a while. That's definitely taking a toll on them. I still thought they could have got it done versus the Knicks yesterday. Pissed that one away. Basically, the Wizards basically out of the play-in, but still trying to play spoiler. They just beat the Warriors. They're coming off 2 straight wins, so it's a tough game for me, man. It's a tough card. I didn't force anything, but I like to look for over here for Marco. I'm not betting the Bulls on the road until they get some rest and get back to the house or something. I'm staying away from this team, man. This Bulls team, they're so up and down, Marco. They were really great to start the year, overperforming. Then now they're reverting back to the mean heavily, guys. So definitely a tough spot for me here. Can't back the Bulls. Let's go over here to the streets of Dallas here, man. We got another one. We got the Mavs here laying 12 points versus my Mavs squad. Love this team. Absolutely love them, man. We laying 12, though, versus the Lakers. We know that LeBron is likely not to play in this game. He is doubtful with that heavily sprained ankle. It's taped right now. We know that the Lakers need this game, Marco. They possibly never know, man, with LeBron teams. Might get a little help by the NBA, but it's a tough game for my Mavs team, especially with what have we been seeing, Marco? Star players out, that team, or it's not even necessarily that team comes to play. The other team just looks past them. Oh, this is going to be easy, and doesn't necessarily give their best effort. I'll be honest with you. I love my Mavs, but I could see us say, oh, no LeBron here. This is going to be easy, not necessarily bring our best game. Hopefully get the win, but me personally, I wouldn't bet the Mavs here minus the 12. I have the shirt on right now, but it's crazy to say, but I kind of lean to the Lakers here, and they definitely need the game more, Marco.
Oh, there's no question they need the game in Dallas. You hit the nail right on the head, Jay, that teams, everybody wants to run and play, against the injured team. I'm talking, the average better, and that's generally a big mistake. And the reason for that is, one, you're always going to get the over adjustment in the line. Vegas knows that the majority of the people do not want any part of the injured team, especially when it's a superstar like LeBron James. So they're going to inflate the number more than it should be. and then you get that psychological mental letdown from the other team. You know, it's like, oh, hey, we just caught a break tonight. We just got to show up. We're going to win the game. So I agree with you. For me, this is one of the 5 games tonight. This was my weakest opinion. I would lean to the inflated number on the Lakers if I had to play the game. But, you know, that's the beauty of betting. You don't have to bet every game on the board. And I tell people all the time, you know, they say, well, you can't make any money if you're not betting the game. Well, you know what? You know, if you don't lose, you know, 1.1 unit, you know,
that's a win.
That is a win. That is for sure. So for me, I have no official play on this, but if you put a gun to my head, I hate that saying, but if you put the gun to my head, I would have to take the Lakers at the inflated number.
Yeah, now I'm with you. The Mavs are my squad. We've beaten the Lakers the last 4 times, man. I still remember when we swept them boys, man. We on our road to go and win the championship. So we can't stand the Lakers. I see this as possibly an under type of game. I can still see the Mavs bringing their defense here. We know that what the Lakers going to do they're going to struggle to score without LeBron, and they're going to have to tighten up on defense if they want to stay in this game. So I lean to the under here. I'm right there with you, Marco. You don't have to force a play. I only bet someone I absolutely love something. It pisses me. It's like a double loss when you're like, all right, I'm not going to play anything, and then you force something and lose. Sometimes it's better off just stand off. That's just me personally how I look at it, guys. I always say never force a bet, man. You're going to be even more pissed. You're going to be double pissed off if in fact you do lose here. So it's a tough game for me. No, LeBron definitely throws a wrench in it. Lakers need the game more, so I'm with you. I'd be taking the 12 or passing from this game. Definitely passing. Like I hope the Mavs smash them by 30. But I really see them possibly looking past this one, especially coming off that big playoff game versus the Jazz here. I could see us getting a win, but maybe like 7 or 8 points. That's what I could see. Lakers laying it all out there, and I always say could possibly get some help from the refs as well, man. The NBA would like to have the Lakers at the very least in their play-in, and right now they're not in it. They hold the 10 seed, but the Pelicans and Spurs hold the tiebreaker over them. So the Lakers aren't in the playoffs right now. That's not good for the NBA. We'll see what happens tonight. Tough game. I do think this could be an under spot. Let's go over here to the streets of Brooklyn here, Mark. The Nets have been probably one of the worst NBA home ATS teams probably ever, to be honest with you. They do have Kyrie. This is his second game back. At least he got his feet wet a little bit, right? He has 1 game under his belt at the house. It was terrible. Shot 6 for 22. I have a feeling that Kyrie should bounce back today. We know the Pistons, they're ATS juggernauts. They'll lose the game, but they just seem to keep covering spreads, and they're playing hard as well. I think that's really important, guys. Man, Frank Jackson he's probably the best player in the NBA that nobody knows about. Guy's a baller. Bagley's over there balling. Kate Cunningham as well. But the Nets here, what do you think, Marco? You think they get off the schneid here at the house? Huge spread, laying 14 at home.
Yeah, you're not going to make a lot of money laying double digits in the NBA, Jay. You know that. And you talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. You could not have a more diverse stats here. You've got Detroit, their last 18 games. They're only 8-10 straight up, but they are 15-3 against the spread those last 18 games. As you said, a point spread juggernaut. And then the other end of the spectrum, Brooklyn at home. I had to look twice at this number to confirm it. 4-22 is a home favorite this year. This is ridiculous for Brooklyn, and it's because you've got all, the superstar names, and too much is expected of them, and you're paying a price for it. And one of the things I'll say with Detroit, yes, they're playing hard, but too often teams look at Detroit and they look right past them because they look at their season-long record. That season-long record, as I just said to you, they're 8-10 straight up the last 18. They've actually played their best basketball of the season. Forget the point spread because we know that's the great equalizer. They are just 2 games under 500. They're not the same team that we saw in December, in January. They're playing better. In Brooklyn, yeah, they've got everything to play for. They're fighting for seeding position, and this is a spot where I think the line is just too much. I've got to lean to Detroit in this one to see that they can sneak in under the number. Do I think they go into Brooklyn and win the game? Hell no. But Oh, am I allowed to say, isn't that Hakeem's skis line? Hell no. But this is a spot where I think the point spread in the dog is live. And as you said, if you give me a dog that's fighting and, at the end of the season where a lot of teams are throwing in the towel, I want that team. So I'll go ahead and look at Detroit plus the points here in this one.
Yeah, could also have a possible look ahead spot as well, man. A couple of days, the Nets have a big game versus the Bucks here, so maybe I do see the Kyrie have a little bit better game, but maybe they just take their foot off the gas as the game goes on with the Bucks on deck. Obviously, like you say, they need to get in the groove, need to get ready for the playoffs and start playing better basketball. I just can't trust them in this point spread range. They're 2-12 against the spread last 14 home games versus a team with the losing road record. 5-23 ATS last 28 as a home favorite. I can't back this team, man. The Pistons 8-0 ATS their last 8 road games. So the trends would say take the Pistons here. And don't get it twisted. I could also see the Nets putting their foot on the gas and smack this team up, especially coming off that loss versus the Hornets at the house. So it's a tough game for me. Definitely not forcing anything. Would like to take Kyrie points here. It's just the way I'm looking at the game. I want to take Kyrie to bounce back in this game. That's the only thing that I would take in this game. Last game up here, Marco. We going to the streets of LA here. We got the Clippers. Marco, I was in Vegas, man. I was all over the Clippers, man, versus the Jazz. I believe Mitchell was out too, man. Oh, man, they just absolutely smacked them up. You talk about one of the most up and down teams of this year. I think it's the Clippers. They are at the house. Big revenge, but I mean, they just got smacked again in their last game, 122-97 versus the Sixers. So they're off 5 straight losses, man. 0-5 against the spread last 5. I can't stand the Jazz, but is Jazz or nothing for me. So I know Paul George is close to coming back. I don't think he'll be playing in this game. What do you think in this game, Marco? Does the Clippers get off the schneid here, try to get some double revenge versus the Jazz? Jazz last game of a 6-game road trip as well.
Yeah, that's the problem with this game. And if you look at it and you look at how bad both teams are playing right now, Utah's lost 4 in a row as well. But as you said, it's the last game of a long road trip. They played the 6-game road trip and they've played some good teams on this road trip. If you look, that 4-game losing streak, Brooklyn, Boston, Charlotte, Dallas, those are decent teams for sure. And so we can give them the old pass and say, okay, now they're dropping down in class for this one. Use a horse racing reference, from my background with horse racing. Sometimes you got to drop down in class to get that confidence win back under your belt, and then things start rolling. But you know what? This is one of those games, and I'm going to disagree with you. I'm not strong, but I just don't like things that look too easy, okay? And I look at this Clipper team, and they are in complete free fall. There's no question about it. But look at the line, Jay. It's pick the winner. Sometimes I use the phrase, we do it on the show, I do with Kelly and VR, the Bet On It show, and I talk about trap games. And this just looks way too easy to walk up to the window and say, hey, give me Utah -1. I just gotta win the game. But do I have the big enough basketballs down below to take the Clippers?
Hell no.
In this spot. But so where I'm going to go with is I am going to look to the under in this game, and I'm going to tell you why. First off, I've got an angle that over the last 3 seasons was with the Clippers is a perfect 12-0. They've gone under 12 consecutive times if they are playing with revenge for a 20-point or more loss. Now, granted, that hasn't happened that often to the Clippers. They've been a good team. It's happened more times this year probably than it's ever had. But they are 12-0 whenever they play that team the next time, meaning they, want to ratchet up a little bit on the defensive end. I think that this is a game we're looking at a total of 217.5, where Utah is going to want to get a win as well. They need a win, and so they're going to come defensively. We've got, some guys that are listed as questionable that Utah can get back tonight. That would help them big on the defensive side as well. I'm going to go under the total here, throw a stat in from Utah. If they failed to cover the spread in 4 or more of their last 5 games, which means what they're doing right now, they're not playing well, they go under 18-8 the last 26, which that makes sense as well. If you're not playing well, you're going to come with more intensity, and that intensity comes on the defensive side of the court. So for me, small lean to Clippers, and my official play for the game, I like the under.
Yeah, I liked it too. I like how you look at situational. Don't get it twisted, Marco. This Jazz team, I've been making a killing betting against this Jazz team. I'm talking about I love betting against this team. I said it. I'll say it again, man. Inside info. This team will get blown up next year. Snyder's leaving. Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be there anymore. He doesn't want to play with Gobert. Guess what he said after the last game? He said, I appreciate everybody for suiting. Everybody that suited up played hard. You know what I'm saying? He's basically going at Gobert in that one. Gobert's questionable in this game, guys. This is huge. If he's in there, I definitely see that under hitting the Clippers. Their offense stinks, right? Is Reggie Jackson having to hit a lot of tough shots, but they can still play some defense. So I definitely like the under in this game. The Clippers do have revenge as well, in theory. But like I said, I thought they had revenge in that last time as well, man. They were never in the game. I'm talking about just smack city ever since the beginning. So they lost by the back-to-back 21 and then 29 points versus the Jazz. So in theory, Clippers supposed to come into play here. Would like to have George in there. Obviously, he did just run 505 the other day in practice. So he's close to coming back to return. Don't know if it's going to be this game, but it is possible. This line will shoot up. That's why I think it's right now, because they know that Gobert this line will move up to Jazz probably -4 if he's in, guys. So the Jazz, they are 1-7 ATS last 8 as a road favorite, 0-4 ATS last 4 games overall. The under is 7-0 last 7 as a road favorite, and the under is 8-1 last 9 Jazz road games as well. Marco said it just speaks to what you're saying. The Jazz, their offense just isn't as lights out on the road. It seems likes to shoot a lot of threes. The Jazz, they're somewhat a fade on the road, guys. So don't get it twisted. I'm not betting them, but we do have huge question marks with Gobert in that one. The total will likely go down, and the Jazz spread will go up if he's in there, guys. So huge question marks for this one. I'm staying off of. I'd like to take the Clippers and fade the Jazz on the last game of a 6-game road trip, but hell, I can't back the Clippers right now, man. But I agree, Marco. The line is all over them. But part of that is because of the Gobert news, guys. But it's a tough card today, man. I always have plays for my guys, Marco. Unfortunately, you come on here. Today is just a game, man. I could see each game really going either way. If I had one top play, it would be the Sixers, though. But I always want to let you guys know, man, I got shirts. As always, NbaTalkWithJay@gmail.com if you'd like to hit me up for shirts. Let's get to some free picks, man. First, promo code, man. We do have a promo code. So the J19 promo has ended, guys, but you can to get Marco's plays, 3 days all access. That's I believe that's every sport, right, Marco?
Every sport.
I know you do everything. I'll let you tell them what you got going over there at Wager Talk.
Well, you know what? I felt left out. I hadn't been on the show yet, and everybody was taking advantage of that J19. So, you know what? One of the beauties of being one of the owners, I can make my own damn rules. So, another coupon code out there for you. Use MD19, and you can get 3 days, all access, all of my plays, $19. Take advantage of it. That's more than I sell one play for. So you're picking up 3 or less than what I sell one play for. You can pick up 3 days for $19. Just use MD19 at checkout and enjoy a 3-day package.
Yeah, so Marco said he'd made up a promo code for you guys. The J19's over, but you can still get Marco MD19, guys. Go check him out right now. Marco is the man over there at Wager Talk. I'm sorry it took so long to get you on the show as well, man. Anytime, my brother, anytime, man. But what you liking on today's card, my brother?
Well, you know what? Like I said, of this card here, for me, I like that first game we talked about, Milwaukee and Philly. I like the under in that game. That would probably be my favorite play on the NBA card tonight. And, after that, I would go to the last one, do the bookends. I like the under with Utah and the Clippers. And, one other last thing on that Utah game that gives me a little bit of pause on the Utah side. You talk about that last loss. Remember, that last loss was against Dallas, and that was a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in the NBA, in all sports, we have a phrase I used to do radio shows. The first time that I heard the phrase, and I borrowed it from him, my good buddy Dave Koken. A team can lose the same game twice. And that was a huge game for seeding because we know the difference between the 4 seed and the 5 seed. You want to get that home court advantage. And they lost that game to Dallas. And right now, Dallas owns, the 4 seed, and they're in the 5 seed. So if they have a carryover effect, that hangover effect, today, that could hurt them a little bit here. But I think we're going to see a good defensive game from both sides, especially if Gobert finds his way into the lineup.
Yeah, I like the looks there, Mark. I must say, man, I love the way you're looking at these games because I'm a situational type of guy as well. I do believe that a lot of these trends can be your friend. You see what I'm saying? Consistency to the inconsistency. So I love the way you look at these games, man. Can't wait to have you on again. Unfortunately, I don't have a top play today, guys. If I had one play that I would be, my strongest play would be Sixers -1.5. I'm always keeping honest with you guys. I always let you know what I'm liking. I hadn't bet a single thing in the NBA, and I probably won't. You got to pick your spots, man. Know when to go with something, but you got to also know when to stay off. So me personally, today I'm staying off. If I had one top play, it would be Sixers -1.5, but even that's not strong enough for me to make a bet on it. I'm always trying to win. I'd rather just sit back today than force a play and possibly lose. And that shit would absolutely run me hot, guys. So tomorrow, I'm gonna already start working on tomorrow's card. Y'all know how I am, man. Totally committed. I'll try to have 3 top plays for you tomorrow. Full card Wednesday. We'll try to get some cash. Always appreciate Marco coming on with me. Go follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. You can follow me as well at JMoneyIsMoney. Use promo code MD19 to get 3 days all access plays of Marco's plays, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we out, my guy.